You are listening to another AlwaysMoto production. The AlwaysMoto podcast with your host, David Hogan. We talk moto events from around the world. All the injuries, all the training ins and outs, the bikes, parts and gear inspections, the results. We interview your favourite riders. It's the AlwaysMoto podcast. We occasionally have some coarse language and the odd stuff up along the way. If you don't like it or you don't agree with us, turn it off right now.
I'd like to remind you that he is not a doctor.
That's right, Moto fans. It's episode 186 of the AlwaysMoto show. Proudly presented by TechnicMotorsport.com, Duramoose.com.au and Yamaha Moto Australia. I'm your host, David Hogan, the Australian physiotherapist who knows the injuries and fitness needs of our sport of Supercross and Motocross. And this week's show, we're going to talk AMA Supercross finale. Ken Roczen finally got it done in the 450 class. He's your champ. We're going to talk about it. And of course, round 3 of the AusProMX series was in Gillman on the weekend. There's plenty of things to talk about there from the Aussie Moto side of things. And we're going to talk about it not with the contractor this week. He's called in sick this week, so he's going to get docked for pay. He is in the group chat, I have just noticed, on the YouTube channel, so jump into that and you can chat with him there. But he's not on the show this week. We've called an audible. We've got a special guest. We're going to bring him in shortly. He's a Kawasaki privateer legend. He's a movie star, or at least a stunt man on the side. We have to check too about what his status is with his mountain bike state rankings and stuff as well. We're going to call in Wiese here very, very shortly. We'll see him just here very soon. But in terms of your motorcycle and suspension, if you got anything suspension-wise that you need to get sorted out, maybe you need to change your seals, get some new springs, maybe you want to upgrade to like a kit, you need to check out TechnicMotorsport.com. They've got everything on their site that you can dream of for your suspension setup. They can ship it to you with DHL internationally if you're overseas. They've got currency converter as well, so you can also buy it in the right currency for you. But they're ready to go there at TechnicMotorsport.com. Don't forget our other sponsors, Duramoose.com.au. Never want to get a flat, you need a Duramoose, Yamaha Moto Australia, Pivot Pegs, Tech 167 3D printing. And don't forget, you can now join the AlwaysMoto community on our YouTube page. You can also donate via the chat live during the show. So if you're not a part of these live shows, you need to jump in here. You can donate. If you donate when you're in the chat, we will answer the questions that you ask in there as well while we're live on the show. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout. Maybe you just want a t-shirt to help support the show. They're $25 plus postage and handling. You need to email info@alwaysmoto.com. and put t-shirt in the subject line, and we'll get you that shirt ASAP. All right, let's get into our general talk. It's going to be brought to you by Yamaha Motor Australia and the WR250F. Why don't you join Blue Crew? And we're going to bring in our special guest. Here he is. Oops, hold on. Get the right screen. It's Wiese. How are we doing, man?
I'm going good, mate. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I might have to get one of those mooses because I have flat Canberra. So I know you gave me grief for that.
I mentioned that on the show like straight after Canberra, but I didn't want to bring it up again. But it seems you've done it. You know, you've put yourself straight in it, man.
Hey, look, TV time is TV time. So I wasn't complaining. And honestly, I wasn't too mad about getting out of that moto early. So, no, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I appreciate the last minute call up as well. And maybe we might see you on a few more of these things. We've got a few things that we're trying to talk about here later on. But yeah, look, awesome to have you join in. Obviously, like we said, Ben's out with he's down with man flu, I understand, but he's chatting in the group chat, and I'm sure he's going to throw a question later on. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. Let's get into the chat for the AMA side of things first and foremost. It's one of the biggest series we've got going in the dirt bike side of things. It concluded on the weekend over there in Salt Lake City. And the man on the Suzuki, the man that's been in the 450 class for 13 years without a title, he was the man who had the most wins without a title. He's now handed that title back to Damon Bradshaw. It is Ken Roczen. He got it done in the series finally. Oh, hey.
Kenny. There you go. How good. I mean, either way, like it was a win-win kind of lose-lose scenario, right? Like either one of those guys that won, everyone would have been stoked, and one of them's going to have to lose. So it's cool to see Kenny get it done, but also being an Aussie, you want Hunter to get it done. But I think, I mean, everyone sort of won really.
On that, we were talking about this with Ben for a couple of weeks, right? Because everyone was sort of torn on, you want Ken or do you want Hunter? Like being the Australian side of things, you sort of lent to Hunter. I realised how much I wanted Hunter to win on Sunday morning at about, I don't know, was it lap 10 or whatever it was that he dropped it? And, my energy fell through the floor, and I'm like, okay, I know where I was actually barracking for. I'm a massive Kenny fan and a Suzuki fan from way back, so I thought I was sort of 50-50, but I obviously was leaning in my heart and my head the other way, so it was a bit of a letdown.
I was the same. Like, obviously, Hunter, like, he's an Aussie. We're all backing him. And I was trying to watch the main as I was at Gillman National, trying to do a few things at once and watching the main. And when Hunter went down, I was sort of like, I was the same as you. I was like, oh, you're kidding. Like, he's just thrown it away. And then that didn't last long. And then a few minutes later, I was like, well, you know what? Like, it is pretty cool for Ken to get this done. Like, everyone knows his story and the things that he's been through. So, like, yes, I wanted Hunter to win, but also seeing Ken win, like, it was pretty emotional. Like, even just watching that was pretty full on.
Like I said, the 13 years in the series and all the injuries, obviously, that go along with Ken's story, and then, the illnesses and stuff after that sort of hampered his progress as well. And obviously all that stemmed back to that 2017 crash in some way, shape or form, just from immunity and being run down and all that sort of stuff. So, it was like this. You could see when he came across the line, obviously those last 3 laps, the bubble burst for him in terms of his own energy level. He couldn't sustain what he was doing, and he dropped from first back to, was it 5th or 6th, whatever it ended up being. But it was still obviously the title clincher. But when he rolled over that and he stopped on that jump, it was like, I thought he was just going to be, buried in that jump, because it looked like he wasn't able to move. It was like he was just, everything had just landed on top of him, and the weight of the whole moment just pounded him. And look, it was obviously emotional for him too, because he was losing it, right?
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I'm getting goosebumps now, just like replaying in my mind. Yeah, like, it was, you could just see him, like, that first half, he was, like, obviously locked in on his job. He knew what he had to do, and then obviously Hunter's gone down. He would have understood the situation. Mechanics would have been telling him, and then he sort of, like, just did what he had to do and get across the line. But he apparently was saying that he had, like, a stitch, like, couldn't barely breathe for the last few laps, and then he sort of crossed the line, and it's like, it was like he was frozen, in the spot, and he just was like, couldn't move. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for Jorge standing there for 10 minutes shaking him up, you might not have moved, right? Like, that was a bit odd. That went on for a little bit too long.
Too long. That was a little cringe for my liking. I was like, move on. Move on. It's not your moment. Not your moment.
Anyway, he got part of it. But I got to say, whatever there is about the man who comes into these championship finales in second position, I think I read on one of the stats pages on Insta that there was only one time that it ever changed around, and that was the whole Bradshaw Stanton one back in, was that 91, 2, whatever it was. And you look at this and you think all the times that they come in second, and this one was probably the closest one that we've got, and that one little mistake then just makes it's so difficult for you to overcome. And if the guys in front of you, I don't know what it is about our sport in that final round, but the guy in front seems to be able to just control the situation so well. And for Hunter, once he made that one mistake and ran off the track, you could just see it all just starting to fall apart. But he'd had a perfect day to that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just goes to show how, like, even the most mentally tough riders, like Hunter has obviously been through so much, and we know he's so mentally strong. I think it shows to how mentally hard this sport is, because you could see it unravel, right? You could see it. Jorge got on his rear wheel.
Yeah.
Hunter went off the track. He got flustered and then overjumped that triple into the turn, and that was all it took. So I think it just shows how even the most elite riders still struggle with those tiny little voices in their head, and he would have had a little bit of panic. And Ken's out front, and he's chasing, and it sucks to see, but just tiniest little mistake, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just obviously the pressure and being that 1 point down, you have to be the one that makes the moves, and you just can't seem to, whatever reason, like you said, the voice in your head, you just can't overcome it. So it sucks. It is what it is. I guess the thing that we got to look at now is like Hunter is 27, I think it is. This season was obviously a little bit different in terms of there was a few injuries, mainly to like Jet, that sort of helped the scenario along for him. Next year, there's a few people coming in that are going to change the scenario. We'll talk about him in a second in the 250 class. Was this Hunter's chance, or does he get another one because of other injuries and stuff along the way, or is he just actually that good and he'll get his own chance again in the future? I think it's too hard to say, but I'm curious what you think, because I think there's just so many factors in this, and sometimes you have to take the one shot that you get.
Well, I kind of said it, and my thoughts coming in was it's these two, Ken and Hunter's probably last chance to maybe get one.
Yeah.
Like you never know, obviously, but it was probably the best chance that both of these riders are going to get at getting one, because you're going to have Jet back healthy. We all know Tegan is coming. And then you're going to have a few years of those boys battling. And then you're going to have Cole Davies coming up. And then, you're going to have these kids coming through in the next few years. So I was kind of like, it might be the last chance for either of these boys to get one. But Hunter is getting better, and he has progressively gotten better every year since he's been on the 450. So who knows? You never know, and he could be even better next year and just win it outright, Well,
yeah, and the only thing that I sort of think of that adds to maybe he gets a chance in one of those for either next year or the year after, when those two guys, Deegan and Davies, sort of make their way into that. Do you remember that season when Villapoto went over to MXGP and Caroli, and Villapoto were like going to kill the world and beat everybody, and then they both sort of overdone it, attacking each other, and were out sort of early in the series, and I think that was Febvre's first title, if I remember correctly. And that sort of came out of the blue. Like, is there that chance that these, like a Deegan and a Jet Lawrence and a Davies, all come in going, I'm going to be the man, and blow up in the first couple of rounds, and there's Hunter to collect the pieces and win races, all the way along, sort of thing. So there's plenty to it. I just, curious how this goes, because I'm with you. That could have been that one shot for both of those guys. Like, I don't know. It's just it's too hard to say, really. And I don't want to offend anyone, but sorry, but like that's just how it looks, right? Like, far out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. You never know what's going to happen in this motorsport. Like, anything could happen. But I do think that Hunter, his personality is, he's more okay with taking the seconds and thirds and fourths when you get the egos of a Deegan and maybe even a Jet a little bit, wanting those wins over one another. That, like you said, then they could be battling each other and blow up, and then Hunter could be there for the win. So, I mean, we're in for a good next few years of racing, that's for sure.
Let's just hope they all stay on track as long as possible, right? And it's going to start from May 30 at Parla. That's where this all sort of starts really to ramp up for what would be another chance at a title for Hunter and that going forward. Let's switch over to 250s just briefly in that East-West showdown there at Salt Lake City. I think that was the most exciting part of the night, because one, nobody really had a horse in any race as such. But the fact that the two guys that were the title winners and then became title combatants there at that moment, and the fact that Cole stood up for me to Hayden in those moments and run him in, and then also stayed strong in the corner when Deegan went down, made that so exciting for me. Like, that was I just wish Deegan didn't go down that final time, because that sort of just let the whole thing simmer out, basically.
Yeah, I was at Gillman National, commentating and busy, and I had people message me like, you are missing out on one of the best 250 mains right now, and whatever. But it was cool. Like, and even Cole said it in some interviews, like he didn't want to let what happened in Denver last year happen again. He's learned from it and this and that. And I think Deegan was probably playing with him a little bit, and then playing a little too much, and then obviously cost him a little bit, bit him in the bum. So, but I mean, you even got to think moving forward to the 450 class. Like, I'm sure Deegan didn't want to go out like that and give the guys in the 450 class that, well, he can't even beat Cole Davies. How's he going to beat us? Sort of mindset. So, I'm sure he wanted to win, but it was cool to see.
Yeah, that was a super good race. I think Cole, coming back to those bits where he got taken out, or not taken out, but like run off the track, leaving the door open with Deegan in the past, he definitely just rode his lines better and held. Yeah. And the one where he did take him down, you just saw him, this body position he was in the middle of that corner, he was ready for a hit, right? Like he knew something was coming and he just didn't even flinch when it happened. So like he was just in a much stronger position. So like you said, he's learned. Plus, I think he's just actually gotten a bit bigger and stronger in himself too. Like he's still young, he's still changing in that physicality side of things. So that was all improvements for me. But yeah, if you go on to that bit you mentioned about going forward, Deegan was all about trying to break some records this year and outdo Jet's titles, like list of accomplishments. He missed one in that race. He missed one. So I don't think that goes down well with him, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't go down well with him. And then also, too, it's crazy to think that, we're comparing and expecting Cole Davies, who's in his second year, to beat potentially one of the best 250 riders there ever has been. And I think people forget how young Cole still is, and he's only in his second year. So, you talk about moving forward, in a couple of years' time, Cole's going to be that guy moving into the 450 class, and he's already that level now. So just so much going on, and it's very impressive for Cole to do what he's doing.
Yeah, no, Cole's exceptional, and I'm just really looking forward to. He missed out last year being healthy, leaving the Supercross series, right? And it screwed the outdoors. And he only turned up. He did get that one odd moto win and whatnot. But I'm curious to see him in a full outdoor season, and if there is something there in that sense, which I feel like there is. You just haven't seen it or had the chance to see it yet. So that's where I'm most curious to go and watch. And then on the Deegan side of things, those tick boxes that I was saying that he's trying to outdo Jet for, if he doesn't turn up and win at Parla, well, he doesn't tick the box like Jet did for your first 450 rookie motocross race. So then is the pressure on him.
He has to then go to 22-0 if he wants to tick those boxes.
That's exactly that's what I mean. But like that, and then that creates this narrative of all the Deeg fans online going, he's better than Jet. He's better than Jet. Well, if you look at those markers, well, he didn't do the same things that Jet did, and then they'll be like, oh, but the field was depleted. There was injuries, blah blah blah. But I just look at the fact that like those marks in his mind will drive him, and if they aren't happening, what will happen to him and his calmness to his riding, if you can put that with him? I don't think that's a word that associates with him.
I think like under control maybe, or under control, out of control is kind of how
something like that.
He likes to be. I think he likes that kind of wild child side of things. But it's going to be a wild first round of motocross, and I know there's a lot of people that think Deegan's going to be better or whatnot, and I'm just here for it all. I'm here for it all. Whatever happens,
popcorn in the microwave, couch is ready for me. Here we go. Right?
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be talking. There's going to be drama. It's going to be full on.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that we'll get to more of that. That we've obviously got 2 weeks, I think it is, until 3 weeks until that round May 30th is when it's going to kick off there at Parla, and then obviously 11 rounds of the series. Hopefully they're all still going by the time round 9, 10 and 11 is going, because that's when I'll be over there. So I'm looking forward to actually catching them and seeing what's happening in person as such. So yeah, that'll be cool. All right, let's get to what happened in Australian motocross. You just mentioned you were commentating. What are you doing commentating at Gillman? What's going on?
Just trying to do it all, mate. I thought racing was going to be a good idea. I tried to race Canberra. Turns out it's not a great idea. So I switched positions and got in the booth. It was a little more comfy, a little more climate controlled, not as dirty, and way easier.
Yeah, right. So was this for the just like for the ground announcing as such, like live on ground?
Yeah. So I've just for the track live announcing. Yep. Obviously, my mate Trent Marr, he does all the live announcing at all the rounds, and I actually jumped in the booth with him a little bit last year, and he does it most rounds on his own. So he was like, come up and spin some yarns, and I just ended up staying there all day. So
yeah, nice.
It's fun. You get another, like, you get a whole different perspective and a whole different view on it from up there. That's for sure. Like, we've got screens, and then we've got what we're looking at on track and trying to call the action. So you see a lot and you miss a lot, but it's fun. I love it. I love obviously talking moto. So it's easy.
Yeah, no, look, it's the same for me. I've been doing the New South Wales motocross state titles with their YouTube stream. Same thing, you know, a couple of screens here and there, and you only get to really see what you can either see quickly out the window or what's happening on the screen. So you do get a nice close-up view of some of the stuff, but you completely miss other things, and you're like, oh, really? That happened? Like, wow, okay.
Yeah. It's funny because you might see something on track or something on the screen, so you're talking about it, and then you realise that people in the stands probably aren't watching that, so you could just be talking about this random thing. But Trent does a good job, and I'm kind of just in there to, you know, say my 2 cents and you know, talk a bit, and it was it's fun. It's good. It's actually, like, for everyone that hasn't ever done live announcing or any sort of commentating, it's actually very hard. So props to you and everyone who does it, like, for like a lot. It's very hard and very tiring. It's
tiring. Yeah, it's amazing. Like the joke with one of the fellow commentators for the state titles that I do, like, he's out doing like the roving stuff, and I'm sitting down, and he's always joking that I'm in my cushy chair and like with the aircon on and stuff, and I am. But because I tend to be more of like I guess you'd call it like the anchor or the lead, and I'm the one throwing to the break and coming back from the break and like introducing the next race and doing all the numbers, you know, to who's what number and memorizing that stuff and trying to throw to him and throw back to the third guy. Your brain, it gets fried really quickly. And like, we're on, I don't know how long you were talking for it on the weekend, but like our ones are 2 days, and it's like an 8.5 hour stream time that we're on for. Like, there's a lot of brain power that goes into that. Not a lot of physical effort. The mouth goes up and down a lot, but
you get a nice jawline from it, I reckon.
I don't know how that's working out. Like,
it is. It's mentally draining. Like, because you're so locked in on what you're watching to try and pick up on something to then, you know, give people good analogies or, you know, insight, and so you're always focused. And I get the same thing when I coach, right? Like, I get so obviously fixated on the riders that I'm coaching, so I'm watching every single move, everything they do, and then trying to relay that information. It's the same with commentating. I'm more tired after a day of coaching than I am after a day of riding myself. So it's hard work. And it's you think talking's easy, but try talk constantly for hours on end. It's actually quite difficult.
Yeah, and not just repeat yourself and not say something dumb every other sentence. So I get it. I know what you're talking about, but it's cool that you're a part of it. That's awesome. So something different for you. Not on track every time, but that's cool.
You got to think about what could potentially be after the on track stuff, right? So, you know, just try and get in the door, and then maybe something in the future.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right. The racing side of things only lasts for so long, unfortunately. So unless you just want to race vet classes for the rest of your days, but, you know.
Well, I am a vet, technically. I'm a vet, so I don't know, maybe, but my back's not great at the moment.
We can talk about that later too, maybe, if we need to. All right, let's results-wise. MX1, obviously Kyle Webster finally got an overall, got a Moto win. A little bit helped by the fact that Beaton went down in Moto 1. I don't think Beaton was stoked on the overall track prep before Moto 1. I gather some work went into that venue in between that period of the day.
Yeah, they did a lot of track prep before that first Moto. I was like surprised because we had a little bit of time in between, and I was walking back from the cantina, wherever it was, to the booth to start, you know, commentating, and we sort of walked along part of the track, and I was like, all right, they've done the whole track prep. Whole track prep here. Like, this looks nice. Maybe I should get the bike out. But for those guys, it was obviously very fast, flat. The lines hadn't formed yet, so everyone was kind of like similar speed, follow the leader type stuff.
Like, you're obviously there in person, and you're saying what I saw on TV. Like, the TV side for watching it was just wide open, and they were just sort of drifting corners. Like, there was nothing to hold them anywhere. So I think Jed's advantage that he has is that technicality in those rough conditions to then still go at a really fast pace and calmly. He was hanging it out to try and stay with Ferris and even make that move. I think he made that move early in Webster. But yeah, just bloody hell, it just looked like it was a freeway for that first motor for the MX1 guys, and just too simple.
I mean, even all day, the track wasn't, compared to previous years, like everyone kind of comes to Gillman thinking that it's a, more of a sand track. Because it's quite deep on top. They have a lot of topsoil. But this year, I don't know if it was a combination of getting some rain during the week and then they didn't disc it up as deep as usual. It actually went to a pretty hard base pretty early. So, guys were pretty thrown off, I think, like at how it formed up. And then obviously you see the track work before the Moto 1 and things like that. So it was definitely a different Gillman to previous years. And even I walked the track after the day and like it didn't look that rough. There was small chop everywhere, but it wasn't that rough compared to previous years. And like you said, Jed's really good when it gets to the gnarliest conditions.
Yeah.
So he kind of lost that little edge a little bit.
Yeah, I think he sort of tried to show that back when obviously Moto 2 came around and track finally got to a point where he was probably in a bit more control of that side of things. So, yeah, but interestingly, one of the comments from one of the riders, and you probably know him, Luke Zielinski, he said track was smooth but the jumps were sketchy as you know what. I gather that's the case, right? Like from what you're saying, walking around afterwards, that was probably sounds accurate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, pretty spot on there. All the lips were quite short and sharp. Even walking the track on Saturday, all the lips had quite a steep transition, and then obviously when the track is ripped right up to that point,
you get the
transition. Yeah, you get the square wall, and then ruts up the faces. So it was a bit of a different Gillman prep, but I mean that's it's motocross. You got to adjust on the fly, and that's why we do it, right? The best riders will rise to the top no matter what.
Yeah. Just obviously Jed maybe not the best in that first moto conditions and got caught out, went down. One thing that was interesting in that Moto 1, and you're probably not going to like this one because it's Cowie based, but the two Empire Cowies did not have a good Moto 1. There's some interesting mechanical things going on there. No info. I have spoken to a few people and they don't know exactly what was wrong. I don't know if you've heard differently, but they're not giving away anything if they do know, but they said nothing that they could put their finger on right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks for me, obviously, being Cowie. And from the highs, right, from seeing Dean out front, riding amazing and looking like he's in that battle, to then obviously having a bike issue. Now, I've heard clutch, Cowie's, I know Tomac obviously used to smoke clutches in the Cowies, and I've heard clutch. It was smoking from pretty early on in the moto. And then I've also heard that they may be running stock clutches, which I'm not sure why.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's like, I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence, like if they actually do or not. If they do, I'm sure they're going to probably change that. Not that the stock clutches is bad. It's just that.
Not for that level that those guys are at. Yeah.
Exactly right. They need, something a bit heavy, more heavy duty in there. So it'd be interesting to see come to Toowoomba if they've got a different clutch cover or a Hinton clutch cover or something on their bikes. Like, I guess we'll see. So that's what I've heard. Yeah,
and look, like I said, for Dean Ferris, finally, not finally, I guess that's the wrong word, but like back to what he has been in years of past. And obviously on the new bike and team, first real time at that point. Yeah, you had a flash there in Wonthaggi, but this looked... And like this was like going moto long, apart from the issue in the end. So that was a bit disappointing from him. And then he went down early in Moto 2. So that's sort of the chance to maybe redeem or like that energy and that that frustration to be put to use didn't really get put to use. So sort of a bit of a problem there. And then Brad West having ongoing arm issues, and sounds like it's all forearm pump related. And I messaged him. And we're talking about it, and he sounds like he was, getting pretty frustrated. And then I just saw a post before he came onto the show tonight that the way it's written, it sounds like he might be getting something done ASAP because he might have finally just gone, F it, I can't do it anymore. That's a bit of a bummer because I thought he was going to be a bit more in this title hunt. Like he's been up top 10s in 450 AMA nationals at times. I was expecting plenty from him, but obviously just being hindered by the body at this stage.
Yeah, it is frustrating for Brad. I actually had a really good chat with him afterwards, like at the end of the day when everyone was packing up. And it's got to be so frustrating because he knows he can't push he can't push the pace. He can't go hard because his arm just blows up. Can't hold on, hands go numb, and all the worst stuff that you can imagine when you're trying to ride a bike, right? So I think he said to me that they've tried everything. They've tried realigning his body with chiropractors and just trying to get him back straight, and they thought that might be the problem. He said he's also got carpal tunnel in his arms.
Just to add to it, why not? Yeah,
I know, just to add to it. And then he actually did say that they were thinking about doing surgery before this round, but he didn't want to miss a round, but I think now it's gotten to the point where they're like, we've just got to get it done. So it'll be interesting to see if he misses Toowoomba or if he, just 2 weeks gets Toowoomba done and then does it in a bit longer break. I'm not sure, but he's frustrated because he knows he can run that, a higher pace than he is. And you got to feel for him. But yeah, he just can't really do much at the moment with it.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at the calendar to see what the dates are that he might be able to, take a break from. And like if he doesn't take this one, he sort of then runs into a stack real quickly because, June 14 is Appen, July 12 is Teraugalon, and then we're July 28 is Conondale, and August 1, 2 is QMP. So it's kind of now or wait until after the season. Or miss, big chunks, So he's in a bit of a shitty time period, really, to get something, have to get something sorted out. But I guess if he does it now, you would hope that then, like the end of motocross, lead into the supercross is all well and good, and you would expect him to be a part of that supercross, front running battle if he is fit and healthy. So damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing. Just get it done, right?
Yeah, I think they're just at a point now where they're just going to bite the bullet and do it. So, but like you said, you're better off getting it done now, maybe miss a round or two, and then, come in swinging for Supercross or the end of motocross and Supercross.
I guess, and I don't know, I'll go into the physio side bit here just quickly, but like I guess it'll depend on what sort of fix he needs to do. Like if he's going to do the carpal tunnel, one that's a little bit different to just say forearm pump, because like they'll go in and snip the fascia if they do that sort of release. But there's 2 or 3 different styles of that forearm pump release that can be done. One's really quick and simple, one's a bit more involved, and one's a lot more involved, and it sort of then adds your time. But if he's got to do that plus the carpal tunnel, we're not just talking like a 2-week turnaround, we're talking 6 or 8 weeks, and really could impact how long this goes. So, and again, if he only does one and not the other, was it the other one that was the problem that you miss out on, and do you roll the dice one way or the other sort of thing? So he's in a pickle. I don't envy the situation he's in, because it's obviously impacting what he can do on the motorcycle, and that's what he's paid to do. So maybe just take the chance and get something fixed, right?
Yeah, it's tough because I like myself, I've had issues with my forearms. I've had surgery on my forearms twice now. But talking with Brad, his is whereas mine, I could kind of manage it, as in like if I just cruised at a 70%, it wasn't too bad. When I pushed to 100%, then it got really bad. His is, he reckons he just can't ride at any percent. It just blows up no matter what. So his sounds a whole lot worse than what mine was. So whatever that is, I guess they're going to have to try and sort out.
Yeah, definitely is. Now, I was going to just jump back to the front of this one. Your thoughts, because I've had my thoughts talked about this on plenty of the shows about the Beaton Webster battles, with Webster just being a touch back from those opening couple of rounds. Do you think he can get back into this, or do you think Beaton controls this one to the end?
I don't think Beaton's going to let him get back into it. I think Beaton's had a few years where it should have been his, or it's or injury has caused it not to be his, and so I think he's going to do everything he can to not let that happen. But I think Jed is better. He is quicker. He's got that bit more aggression in him than Kyle right now. Kyle looks like he's trying to struggling to make up that speed difference a little bit. I think Jed's definitely got it over him. So it's going to be tough for Kyle, but like even in that, the first moto, Jed obviously fell over and sort of handed it to Kyle a little bit. And then that second moto, Jed handled his business pretty obviously. And I think Jed was pretty stoked with that second one. You could see him actually fist pump over the line, which he usually doesn't show too much emotion, but I think he was like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm the man. So it's going to be tough for Kyle to bridge that gap a little bit, I reckon.
Yeah, it's been a great run for Webster with these championships and obviously the MX of Nations stuff as well. But I feel like this one, after last year's FEMA at probably the worst point for Beaton potentially is owed at least one, and he's dominating so far, and I feel like he's just going to carry this through. So let's see, maybe Webster finds something here in this, what'll be this heading into the second half from Toowoomba on. So we'll see. Before we go to MX2, the contractor Benny is in the chat, and he's actually bringing up. You need to grab up the Kenny plate again, because he's asking about those Kenny plates. From all the different stuff that you're involved with, because it's SKDA that you're sort of partly involved with here, and that's for who's done that particular graphic. Is there any, those are for sale, I gather, for the public, or how's this working?
Yep. So pretty much the night of.
So
it's pretty cool because we are involved with both Honda HRC and HEV Suzuki. So either way, we were going to get a number one plate out of it at work. But we actually had two designs done, one for Hunter, one for Kenny, and we did some content stuff, obviously, leading into the weekend. And obviously, Kenny's gone and got the win. But you can go to the SKDA website, and they're doing a short run of these, or a short time, and you can go on and get your replica Kenny plate. Obviously, the number one's what he had on his bike afterwards. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, to be, the small part that I played in it. I did some templating stuff for this one actually, which is cool. So everyone can go on and grab their. I've had so many people ask me about it and say, where can we get one, or can we get one? Yeah.
So how's that response? Like, especially like you're saying, you were shown before you came on, and this was out off topic, but because you said HRC, like the MX of Nations plates and stuff, do you have people contacting you for these things? And like, do they sell them? You said this is going to be a short run. Like, I would expect you just to have that on file and be able to hit print whenever you want. So why cut it short? Like,
Yeah. I think it's more of like a marketing thing. Like, okay. I think we've so far we've sold a lot of these number one plates, like a lot. So
I would assume so.
Yeah. We will keep running it until I guess the sales drop off. So, but yeah, it is pretty cool to see the number one plates rolling off the printers at work, and obviously a credit to Sam and the whole team at work. Like, to see where I've known Sam forever, and to be part of his business from the get-go, from the start 15 years ago or whatever, to now, it's pretty crazy to see. And he's even thinking about getting a Suzuki and putting one in the showroom.
Look, it's prime time for them. They're probably on I don't know where you'd go to the shop and get one, because I don't know there's any in shops anymore. It's a special order, I believe, in Australia these days. But
it might be a marketplace buyer.
Maybe they're still the same. Nobody said that, right? All right, let's hopefully that answers the contractor's question there. But MX2, Gillman, back to Gillman, MX2. Alex Larwood is on one this year, right? Like, other than that one little issue in Canberra, which was a collision and I think it was a bent gear shift or a bent brake lever, one of the two.
Yeah, bent shifter.
Yeah. So other than that, nobody is touching him so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where he's wanted to be, obviously, for the last probably 2 to 3 years. He's had he had a rough run with injuries early on in his career, and he possibly could have been in this position quite a long time ago if it wasn't for that. So I know in his mind he's wanted to be in this position for a long time, but it's sort of it's just been stacking and building and building and building to this point, right? So I think it's awesome for him. I've known Alex for a long time. He's an SA guy originally. So I think this is where he deserves to be. And he looks just like a class above everyone right now. Like I know Cade got a moto win at Canberra, but you know, Alex had the bench shifter, and then there was a lot of hype about Cade, and you know, rightfully so, because he is young and he is fast. But Alex is the overall complete package right now.
Yeah, and look, you know, this might be a little bit me not knowing the full backstory that you just sort of mentioned about some of those ongoing, you know, injuries and stuff that sort of derailed him. But like, I always looked at him and like, well, wondered, you know, obviously Reeves sees something in him because he's always on the team, and you'd see some of those results from time to time. And like, especially last year in Supercross, they were starting to get a bit more frequent. But still like, oh yeah, you know, not always winning, not always podiuming, but geez, he's putting it together right now. So he's going to take some catching in this championship, that's for sure. Unless there's other issues that pop up that are out of his control, like the Canberra Moto. Right now, he's making a break for it. Right, he's heading for the front door and he's going there fast. So, well done to him. He's putting it together nicely. But you mentioned Cade Kingsford. He was the points leader there coming in. The collarbone. How quickly have you ridden a bike after breaking a bone? Because this is up there with the fastest turnarounds. Like I saw Jace Kessler in the States last year. Same deal. Wednesday night surgery, was riding Friday press day. Rode Saturday motos at Southwick, I think it was his first race back. And I'm like, are you insane? But it's possible. Practical, would the medical teams approve it? Probably not. But yeah, like, how quickly have you done anything like this, or could you contemplate doing this?
Nah, not anything of that level. I've had a break in a bone in my shoulder, but it was a tiny little fracture, and I was 2.5 weeks, and I was back on a bike. So nothing on this level. So to do what he did, like we actually had a race at Gillman a couple of weeks back. It was a 2-day event, and he crashed very first lap of practice, second corner, and he didn't race the rest of the day, and he went off holding his shoulder. And the rumor was then
that he did shoulder.
He's done damage, and then he stayed very quiet. And so I thought, oh man, he's done. Apparently that was fine. And then we all on the Thursday, Friday, we started hearing, there's possibly something going on with Cade, and then it all comes out Saturday, and everyone knows. And it's pretty gnarly. And you know, on the day, obviously, like I said, I was doing the commentating, so I didn't get to like watch him much. But to end up, what did he end up, 6th overall?
Like 6th overall, I think it was. I think he went like 6, 7 or something about that. The kids will love that comment. But I'm just going for the results again.
Wild.
But 6th overall. And I think it's 6, and it's either 7 or 8th. But damn, that's impressive for 2 days. From a surgery, 2 bit days. And the thing is with this, one, it's possible, but two, he's got to watch out for an infection post the race weekend, right? Like sweating underneath that coverage, the wound is open. If that coverage peeled off even the slightest and some dirt or sand got in there, man, look, it might look great this weekend. He did that, but maybe he's out for the one in 2 weeks' time because he's got an infection or something stupid. So he's going to have to pay attention. He's got a lot of stuff to worry about between even now and now Toowoomba still. So it's not going to get a whole lot better by then either. So
that was my thought too. Was like, man, like, are you really going to risk doing long-term damage to your shoulder, and you're young and potentially do something for your whole career over just, I know Australian title is obviously huge for these guys, right? But still, Cade Kingsford is someone that I look at and go, he needs to go to the overseas as soon as possible because he's young, he's developing. And so for me, I was like, is it really worth risking like your future career on just the Australian title? But they're races, they want to go race, right? He was the points leader, so I guess you got to give it a go. And to get 6th is like, there's guys that are healthy who are very good riders who can't get 6th right now. So, like he's doing that 2 days out of surgery is pretty impressive.
Yeah, all of what you said there is absolutely spot on. I put myself back to those points when I was like trying to race, and like I didn't race anything of any level, right? Like that was anything worth doing. But even with an injury, I'd still go and do it because I wanted to go and do it. There's no way that anyone would be talking you out of it at that point, right? No matter how sane the logic was, you were doing it. And I think that's where Cade was just like, Cade would have been just, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And no matter what anybody said, unless the doctor physically said, you're not allowed to and I'm not clearing you, there was no way anyone's going to stop him. And I think it's probably potentially not worth it for, like you said, for just an Aussie round, potentially an Aussie title. Take those big picture, go to the States later on, save the thing. You know, I don't know. But like I said, nobody was going to talk him out of it. I guarantee it. So,
well, I think that's why they kind of kept it pretty quiet, sort of word on the street, as if someone found out, then he's not going to get a release. They kept it pretty low key. And then they said, because obviously everyone knew on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
But then there was interviews done, and then Uribe, I think, put a stop and said, don't release any of this information until Sunday, until he's on the track. Then they can't do anything about it. So, yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
I don't know how, from our medical side of things, that just pokes a few holes in a few different things with our clearances and stuff for racing. One, it probably happened at a private facility, so he didn't have to record that he'd been out in an ambulance and then get a clearance officially. Like if that was like MotoGP or something, like we all go back to those things where Marquez is doing push-ups after surgery, an hour or two after surgery, to prove that he's fit to go racing, right? We don't have anything like that that's worth talking about. So let's just move on, because I'll get myself in trouble, I'm sure. On the Kingsford side of things, let's go Ryder Kingsford. We had him on the show last episode 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about all the stuff that he went through with the bike change, or team change, bike change, but the injury to the shoulder right at Christmas time, and how he's just building back into some form. And then he goes and does his best race so far in this season. It was 4-2, I think it was. He's showing some signs, but I said this last time, I just fear that he'd given Larwood too much of a head start in this championship, but also the fact that, like we just said, Larwood's on one. I don't know if he even catches him anyway, but good to see that Ryder Kingsford is starting to turn back into the Ryder Kingsford that we know, that was the Supercross champ and the runner-up to the outdoors last year, right?
Yeah. Well, talking to some crew that ride with the beaten crew before Wonthaggi, they were saying that Ryder's only just got on a bike and he's struggling, right? Like, he's struggling with the injury, struggling with bike setup. There's a whole lot, so his season is going to be building back into it. I think Gillman, it might have maybe come a little bit earlier than what we all thought, or what he even thought. I think he's back to pretty good form pretty early for what he went through. So I think that's going to be huge for him. And he did look really strong. Like, he looked good out front. He didn't look like he was, over trying. He didn't look anything out of the ordinary. He's obviously a rider who's used to being that sort of, in that area. So, I think when he gets back to 100% strength, and then Kay gets back to 100% strength, we could have like a really good three-way teammate battle.
Yeah, really. Honda battle again. Yeah. So, I'm sure Uribe's pretty stoked. Yeah, Uribe knows how to pick a team, right? Like, geez, he's doing all right with that SX, MX2 sort of things and battling those guys out. So, yeah, look, it was cool to have him back up there and showing that speed. One person who in this MX2 class, well, there's two. These are sort of two negatives for me coming up, right? I think this man was thinking he was going to come here and win. He's not quite there yet. And I'm wondering if you know who I'm going to mention here. You've probably got someone popped to mind, right? It's the KTM. It's Dylan Walsh. He's had an okay go, but I feel like in just some of the stuff he's said in some interviews and stuff, that I feel like he thought he was going to come here and just like get it done in terms of a title and maybe a lot of race wins. But it's not quite there. He obviously fell off in Moto 2 on the start, and that hampered his results there. But even when he hasn't, he's sort of been in that 3-2-3-ish, not able to get number one. And even now, he's got to be getting a bit frustrated. His teammate, Byron Dennis, is regular podium man, right? Like, that's got to be hard to look at too.
Yeah, well, when you're on, when you're on a two-rider team, you want to be the best rider out of the two. That's just, and especially if you're an import, right?
Yeah, and you're signed as the guy, probably.
Yeah. I don't know, but I dare say he's probably on a bigger contract than what Byron's on, being an import, right? He's
Yep.
a championship guy, and so yeah, I don't know. He's a very confident person. Like he I don't know if it's cocky or confident or maybe a bit of both. Like it's kind of how he is. And I obviously am friends with a few guys on the team, and I know sort of get to talk to him a bit. And I talked to him after the race, and he said, Walsh, he said, I'm going to stop listening to people and what they tell me about his tracks are going to be like, because so far nothing has been like what they've said. Wonthaggi wasn't the usual Wonthaggi. Canberra wasn't hard packed like it was last year. It was a mutter, and Gillman wasn't very sandy. So I think he's kind of been, spun out a little bit with that and the riding, and I think he might have underestimated a few guys, and I think it is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I think that underestimating thing is a big one. I think he just maybe, like you said, a little bit overconfident in that aspect. But yeah, I think the track part is really just throwing him through a loop, because he's just he's there and he's not quite there. I feel he's got a lot more to give for those results, and he probably should be potentially winning. But yeah, maybe he is right. Maybe he just needs to just rock up blind and just go and tackle the track that day and put some, some earplugs in and not hear anything from anybody about it. Because, but the Canberra one, he rode Canberra for the state titles before it, so he had some exposure to it. I felt he should have been better there, but he wasn't. So I don't know. There's something to this story. It's either going to get better or it's going to stay the same and dip down, I reckon. So we have to see how this goes. But I don't think he's thought what it would be, what it is so far.
Yeah. I even talking to the team, like that, he rode a 250 during Supercross time on a motor to get ready for Des Nations. And this was right when they just signed Ferguson, and they were sort of looking for a rider, and they put him on 250, and by the sounds of it, they were like, he's going to win everything. That's how impressed they were with him at the time. And so I guess that's kind of like he's taking that and just come into the season thinking, I'm just going to wipe the floor with these guys, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He also is, he is probably on the bigger side for a 250. Like he's a pretty strong dude. So I don't know if
he's dense, as we say, right? Like he's not fat or anything. He's dense. He's just a solid build.
He's a strong dude. Like if you sort of look at him compared to a Ryder Kingsford or a Cade Kingsford, they're quite small, skinny, fellas, and he is a strong dude. You'd sort of think he'd suit the 450, but so I don't know if that's something he struggles with. I mean, his teammate seems to do all right, and he's gigantic. Byron Dennis is
you just undid your whole argument, right?
So I don't know. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Maybe he just needs to not listen to anyone about track prep.
Look, maybe, but I'm interested to watch what happens with that over the rest of this, and how it then goes into the Supercross side of things, because his Supercross 450 wasn't spectacular. Obviously, he wasn't familiar and thrown in the deep end. But, curious where that goes, and whether they stay 250 or he jumps to 450 or what happens, Is he there still? Maybe he's got the shits because he didn't win. I don't know, We'll see how that plays out. One more MX2 one, and it might turn into an MX1 talk at some point, because the man that I see at New South Wales motocross titles that is killing our MX1 and MX2 classes there is not the same guy I'm seeing on the screen at MX2 in the national side of things. Reese Budd is just, I don't know what it is. He's sensational at the state titles, and just not having the starts, and then not able to find the way through the pack, and he's sort of getting those 5 to 10 sort of results in the 250 MX2 class. But he did mention, and I don't know if he saw this again, if you heard this at all around the pits, but at Dubbo on the podium, he mentioned that by the end of the Nationals, he's probably going to be doing some 450s instead. So he's already maybe given up on the 250 idea at this point, which I kind of don't mind. I think he should be really good on a 450 if he just took that plunge full on.
Honestly, I didn't see him really at all on the track. He was not really in the battle where he should be.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's hard because I don't know if the equipment he's on is maybe what he's used to or had in the past, or he just isn't gelling with that bike. I'm not sure. I know Reese he works hard. Like, he's always worked hard. He always puts in 110% effort. So, but I did hear sort of what you're talking about along the lines of potentially going to a 450 soon. Maybe even racing both on the same day. I've heard rumors. So
Is that possible at the Nationals? Are they allowed to do that still?
Yeah, we had someone did it years ago. I think it was maybe Caleb Ward, or maybe one of the New Zealanders that came over years ago did it, and they raced both classes on the same day.
Yeah, okay.
So I believe you can do it. It would suck.
Oh, imagine how drained you'd be at the end of it. Like, you'd be taxed.
So bad. But I believe you can do it. So whether he does or not, I don't know. But, I mean, at the moment, right, there's no point. He's not in the championship hunt on the 250, right? Doesn't look like he's going to be winning motos, and that's no offense to him right now, but at the moment, he just is not there. So why not just jump on the 450? Why just give it a go and see? I think he practices on one, so just jump in and see what happens.
Yeah, well, he's definitely comfortable on the gear and the equipment, because when he's at the state titles, there is no issues. He's generally lights out at those things, so he is good. But yeah, like, I think it was 2023, I want to say, he got that club fill-in for World Supercross on a 450, and I was like, this is the push he needs. This is the push he needs to just take that step. Like, the 250 class is super competitive. It's relying on the equipment that you're on to some degree, because you got to have the horsepower. I'm like, I feel like he's good enough to be 450 and like top 5, right? Like, I feel he needs that push. Maybe he just needs to take that jump now, right? Like, maybe the 250 just isn't going to be the thing that maybe he thought he was going to get a title or something. I just don't, at the moment, I don't see that one happening. Just take the leap and see what happens in the 450, right? Like,
I agree. Like, it just do it sooner than later. And I mean, you can always
go back if you want, right?
Like, it's not like he's that old that he would be frowned upon. Like, he's obviously been around for a while, but he could drop back for Supercross, or if it goes really well, then happy days.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm wondering if it'll be maybe next round you see him on a 450 after the weekend's results. We'll see. MX3 class. This class is just throw them up in the air and just see where they land, right? Like, the results have been somewhat consistent, but then somewhat absolutely all over the shop as well. So I have to say, I think for the weekend, the ride from Heath Fisher was his announcement day. It was his coming out day, right? Like, that 1-1 ride, that's I'm here, this is me. He did such a good job in that sense too.
Yeah, he was solid. Like, didn't put a foot wrong. He looked like a veteran MX2 rider, the way that he went about the day, and then just kind of let the chaos unfold behind him, right? Don't think he might not have been the fastest. Like, Draper, I think, probably has that little bit of speed on him, but Draper's young, pretty all over the shot.
They're inconsistent in this class, right?
Yeah. So, Fisher just got out front and ticked off his laps and looked a lot like what Alex Larwood did. He looked very similar to what Alex did. And I guess if you can do that in this class, that's going to pay off come the end of the season.
Yeah, well, I guess, like, obviously we had Devison at the opening round, we had Draper at the next round. Now we've had Fisher. We need one of those guys to repeat this at a round, right? So we'll see what round 4 brings us, and if Fisher can repeat it, well, then I think we're all on board. But we'll have to see whether that lasts or not, because it's been a bit hit and miss for the rest of those guys after they've got those opening round wins as well. So we'll see. But you mentioned Draper still has the points lead. He mentioned to me that he was happy, but he wasn't stoked with his day. And obviously there was a few bits and pieces that went along with that. Going down with your teammate isn't always ideal. But Jack did mention to me on that side of things that it was a full accident, the contact, and that they were okay. So he was a bit, bummed that it happened, but it's just a racing incident, right?
Yeah, definitely a racing incident. Like, Draper threw it up the inside on the corner previous to that, and then I think Devinson got not frustrated, but he was like, got a bit of a kick up the arse and was like, well, I got to, get going again too. And yeah, it just, Dak kind of cut up to the left, and Draper sort of also did kind of wash out a little bit and come over to the left and sort of hit his rear wheel, just racing incident. It makes it look worse at their teammates, obviously, but
it's never a good look.
No, never a good look, and I'm sure the Whitten brothers were not stoked with it, but it is racing, and Draper had a pretty wild day, and to end up third, third overall on the day after what he had is probably best case scenario.
Yeah, like 22, and so what's that, second and like I want to say 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I think it was 2nd and 8th.
Yeah, so like, and yeah, just missed 2nd overall too, because Jackson Fuller's was a 2nd and a 5th. So the results are just apart from, like we said, Heath Fisher. So interesting. Circling back around, because I've just had some people pop in the chat and say that Eddie Warren did both with energy in the tank. Eddie Warren's an old reference. You probably even don't know who that is, but anyway, we'll move on. But Bailey Malkowitz apparently did 254.50 a couple of years ago too.
I remember. Yep.
So
I remember that.
I didn't realize that he did that. So anyway, so obviously it was possible, whether it's still in the rule book or not, but maybe it is. Nobody's probably checked that rule book in a couple of decades. So yeah. Maybe we have to check in with Bailey and just ask how easy it was. We could probably do that. I've got Bailey. I'll probably message him and see if we can get a response. But I'm
sure it was light work for him.
Oh yeah, how's that Arnold thing? No, it's what's the other guy? God, I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. Ronnie Coleman. Lightweight, baby, lightweight.
Lightweight, baby. Yeah. I'm sure Bailey was thinking halfway through that fourth 25-minute motor that it was light work.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. All right, back in those MX3 days. Riley Burgess, he was another one that's starting to get some TV coverage. He's also doing quite well at our state titles for New South Wales. Third in the first motor, but then a 10th to back that up. Just adds to this inconsistency of MX3. And then, same thing. If I go down, Corey Eisel got some TV time finally. Number 23 on the Honda. Not as good one moto, better in the other moto. And then I go to the featherweight and the flying starts for Cooper Bowman. Damn, that kid could move off the starts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a given, right? The size of him on a 250 compared to some of the other guys, he should be ripping some starts, but his opening corners and laps are, impressive. Yeah, he's got some sprint speed. I
think he's just like he's obviously got sprint. He's got speed to burn. He's lightweight. I dare say he's got lightning fast reaction time as well to go with that, because he is super good in that sense. I think he literally is one of those cases where he needs a bit more size to have the stamina, because he just doesn't have the reserves in terms of muscle size to hold enough nutrients to burn for long enough. He's just so small, right? He just needs a bit more.
Well, yeah, you could see him go, like, obviously gets the starts. He hangs with, the top two for 5-6 minutes or whatever it was, and then the other older guys sort of get, or keep moving forward, and he sort of just drops off that pace a little bit. But he's only pretty young though, isn't he?
I think he's only just either just under the senior mark, or he's just on the senior mark. So he's like that 16 point. So he's young, right? He's got a bit of time to go to hopefully fill out, maybe gain a couple of inches in height, maybe, I don't know.
But look, a little bit longer legs would help him a lot.
If he can keep that start technique dialed, that'll help him a shit ton in the rest of his life. So he's definitely good on the starts. Drew Kremer went down. He messaged me, and this is quote, "I shredded a glute muscle. Now, I've got to get some more context on that, because if you shred a glute muscle, in my mind as a physio, that's not a good thing. I'm assuming he's grazed his ass cheek, but the way he put "I shredded a glute muscle" was really interesting. So he didn't have a good day down there. He's got to get some work with some stuff sorted out before. He's not sure whether he's going to be able to get to Toowoomba. On the injury front too, I think it was Kobe. Was it Kobe Wise?
Yeah.
Kobe Hanters. Out
Hanters,
with a knee injury early in the day. Do you know what happened there when that was?
I honestly, I think it was in practice qualifying sometime.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Yeah, I saw him. I think I saw him getting around later in the pits, obviously, not in gear. But yeah, suspected knee or something wrong with his knee. I'm not sure how serious.
No, look, when it's a suspected knee, it's always unfortunate that, these tend to either be nothing or they're absolutely everything, and you're still wandering around like you didn't know why it's everything. So let's hope that the scans this week for him are okay, but you'll find out more about that probably around Toowoomba time. So, I chatted with Seth Morrow. How good was his speed in the middle of the motos? Just coming through the pack, right? Like, just crazy. He was one of the few making a lot of moves. Yeah,
both motos he was charging. And like, we were obviously calling the action, and you sort of focus on the top 5 and then come about, towards the sort of midway or just after midway, he just sort of all of a sudden he's in the battle.
Popped
just
up.
Charging through. Yeah, and I actually called it. I think it was maybe the first moto. No, maybe the second one. And I said, he's the one on the move, because he's come from way back. He's making moves on a track that was not necessarily easy to make moves on, and he was still putting down fast time. So that was, it was impressive.
Yeah, he said he just had a flow, and he just was able to carve the track up, which not many other people seem to be able to, wanting to do. So props to him. It was an impressive ride. The result wasn't stellar, but the way he got the result was. So nice work from Seth Morrow. How are you with knowing Seth Thomas? Because I've been calling him from before the start of this season, because I know of him from our state titles last year, and he's only young. He's 14, but I've been saying things about him for a while now, and he's starting to just creep into the picture here, right? Like, he's young too, like we were saying about Cooper Bowman and being small and stuff too. But Seth Thomas is coming for that top step here. Maybe not this year, but he's coming for it. Yeah. No, I've actually known Seth for quite a while. I've done a bit of coaching with him years ago actually not really that long ago, because he's still young, but like 65, 85 days. Yep. And he is, he's going to be good. Hey, like he's just a quiet kid, and he just, no excuses, and he just goes out there and just keeps chugging along. He's getting faster and faster and faster. And he was, I think on the weekend too, he caught that, that Draper and that pack. He actually got onto the back of him in the first moto, I think, and I think he sort of was like hungry to get going further. And you could see he was just building confidence throughout the whole moto, because he was catching these guys. And the last moto ended bad for him, because Draper and him collided in the air, and there was a big one, and he ended up getting the short end of the stick. Yep. But even on his Instagram post I saw today, he just said had a crash on the last lap. Yeah. Like, no excuses. No excuses. Yep. Didn't say anything about it. He's just all business, quiet kid. He's going to be good come, in the next year or two for sure. Same thing. I messaged him to ask how he was. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll be good to go. I'm like, all right, sweet. You looked like you were half dead, like. Yeah. He was down for a while too. Like, you could see he was took the wind out of him, I reckon.
It was a pretty heavy hit. Yep. But yeah, like you said, just brushed it off. Yep, be good, So no, I think people should know that name, like Seth Thomas, know that name and pay attention, and even when it comes to Supercross time in this, it would be SX3 at that point. Well, he's good at Supercross. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like he's really good there, and maybe again the size thing. What will be an issue for him, because the bigger bike's going to be a bit harder for him to control through, a whoop section as such. But just keep an eye on him. He's coming. He's coming up. Yeah. So keep an eye on it. He's good. I like Seth. I like his family. I like his attitude. He's like a young Alex Larwood, like very quiet kid, just goes and does his work, and yeah, you can see it on the track.
Yeah. No, well, we'll see where his future goes, but just keep an eye on him, people. He's worth watching out for. I'm just going to have a general comment here. Aussie tracks. After being in the States, now I've been over there a few times. Aussie tracks, when I look at them on TV, and obviously I've never been to Gillman, but when you get some of those overhead shots, and even when we're at Dubbo on the weekend for the state titles a couple of weeks ago, our tracks, generally speaking, are pretty meh. In terms of elevation isn't great in a lot of the cases because they're just in these weird parcels of land that are either on the side of a cliff or just in the bottom flat, you know, and they're a rectangle area. So then we end up just doing this snake back and forth, and there's no infield as such. So there's nowhere that the, you know, spectators can go through a tunnel and be on the inside of the track and watch multiple areas. Our viewing areas look a bit shitty at times too. You can't see too much. Yeah, that one at the Gillman seemed like there was a bit of a higher edge on one side that you might be able to see some of it, maybe not all of it. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we just end up with this cramped area, average viewing, average track elevation and natural features. And I feel like we're shortchanged in that sense in Australia.
We definitely are. Like Gillman is actually literally in a dump.
Is that what it is? Is that?
Yeah, it's like a very industrial area. There's a big pit next door. There's, you know, this pallet dump behind it. Like, so it's kind of not in the most, you know, scenic
it's
area.
It's in a spectacular area. You've got to go high tourist area, right?
Yeah. So it actually is good viewing once you're there and up on that back hill. But like I said, it's just in this little bowl and it's just kind of flat and not anything too exciting. And we don't really have that. Like, the tracks that come to mind, I think that are the greatest tracks in Australia are like Coonabarabran. And, you know, we had Moree. It wasn't too bad years ago. Canberra's not too bad. Toowoomba is one where it's like quite spectacular and up and down hills. But Conondale is going to be good. But we just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. We just don't seem to have cool tracks, I guess. I don't know.
And we're lacking. And then even like, you know, I've got to sort of step back because like I've been to Appin plenty of times. Like I used to live not far from there. So I've been there plenty of times. And like the old, we say the Appin Sunday special, you know, it's just concrete, clay, you know, that had turned into nothing. And it's just average. Like, yeah. So like it's on a bit of a hill, but I don't even really rate it too much. I think we've lost a lot. I think we've lost the man. But we'll come back to that. We'll find him in a second. I'm sure he'll pop back here. I'll just get a screen going that we can get back to myself. Here he is.
I'm not sure. Dropped out.
Dropped out on us, mate. Jeez, I don't know.
Someone's listened to us from MA and they've cancelled us for talking about their chat.
Just hacked that feed. Yep. No. So I was just saying, like the Appin side of things, like it's on a bit of a hill. It's got a little bit of elevation, but again, it's not super wide and stuff either. With like, you know, massive sort of flowing options and stuff. So I don't know. We have tracks. I'm not saying we don't have tracks and that you know we don't have anywhere to ride that's reasonable, but I don't know. When I see some of these American ones, and some of the Europe ones are cool too because they've got this really crazy elevation changes. Or was it Trentino with that crazy mountain range behind it? Like spectacular, right? Like we don't have that.
Well, I think the thing is we can't. We have so many rules and regulations on what we can have on tracks, right? Like we can't have jumps over a certain size. We can't have doubles. We can't have this. We can't have, like, there is so many rules about what we can and can't do with tracks here. I only know this because I'm, you know, involved a little bit with the like with Murray Bridge club here with South Coast Motocross Club. Like, there's way more to it than people think. People just build these huge. You can't, and it sucks because that's kind of what makes it exciting. You know, you look at the States; they got these huge step ups or these big doubles or rhythms. And
you imagine if someone tried to build LaRocco's Leap at Murray Bridge, right? Like, not happening.
Yeah, I know, and these are the things that are kind of, I wouldn't say killing the sport here, but it's not making it a lot of fun, really, because we go to the same flat tracks all the time and there's the same, you know, 30, 40-foot jumps that are not that fun and whatnot. And it's just, I think that probably has a part to do with it for sure.
Yeah, and I feel too that as much as they change some little things here and there on a track, maybe they change the direction, or maybe they just, change one corner here to link it to a different section. Overall, the track is still exactly the same, and I think part of that, like the American ones are similar, but they do a lot more different tweaks to them. And they do that because they have their watering truck lanes. They water their track with water trucks. And so they have a track next to it that they drive along and just shoot it off. Whereas we have done this thing where, and it's probably for an ease of access and stuff, but we've seem to have put in like irrigation lines through everywhere, and so then you can't just move a track because there's an irrigation line there, and
makes it harder.
So I feel like there's some stuff there that we've just gone down a certain path, rule wise, track, preparation, build wise, and we're just in this little area that's just a bit. When I look at it and stuff at times on TV, and I think of those other things, I'm like, man, if we could get one spectacular. And Coonabarabran, you brought, I'd forgotten about that one, but that was
wild.
Like that thing's dead. Somebody actually brought that up. Actually, a mate of mine brought it up about he wanted to do a big, like full in-depth, special on it because, where did it go? How did it get to where it was? And then it's just gone, it's,
well, I raced a national at Coonabarabran, and it was so sick. It was like so wide, huge rollers, quite sizey jumps. This is going back quite a long time because I'm a vet now, so I'm pretty old. So, but I guess the rules weren't as strict back then. We could have huge jumps. There was a huge step up the hill, and lap times were like over 2.5 minutes. And now I actually found this out on the weekend. Apparently we can't have a certain lap time due to TV as well. We have to have laps under, I think it was under 2 minutes. And I'm like what do we do? Like under 2 minutes for a national track? It's like basically a Supercross track. What are we doing?
Yeah, and that'll be for purely like the length one so that the motos end up on that right schedule and you don't add an extra lap in. But two, because of the number of camera points that they can have, they'll only have I think it'll be 5, I think it is, maybe 6 for the national coverage. And so if they can't get every point of that track with the camera and moving it, well, then they can't cover it. So then they don't want it. So that's where we can't have these massive long tracks either. So that becomes an issue too, which is, I feel like it's a bit dumb, but it's also great that we have the TV. So I can't complain about that.
Definitely.
Like I said, we're in a bit of a funny, we've gone down a path and we're here and we're somewhat stuck, I feel like.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do at Conondale because I've ridden Conondale the full track and it is like a 2:32 minute 40 lap time if you do the whole extended track. So they're not going to be able to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. And it's also going to be very hard to get camera points because Conondale is an iconic track for obviously Australian motocross, but it is hills and inner valley and more of that natural sort of American style track. So hopefully that one goes well and they sort of start to realise that these big open tracks and things are probably the way to go.
Yeah. We'll see. But after watching it and then, obviously knowing what's coming up for AMA and stuff, it just sort of got me on the weekend. I was like, I want it to be better. Anyway, here we are.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, also too, they talk about crowd attendance has been pretty dismal this year. That's the sort of stuff that's going to get the crowds back into it. So do you maybe loosen the rules a little bit and get more people there and exciting? And I don't know. I don't get paid enough to actually make those decisions.
No, but like what I was saying, like the infield viewing, like when they, in the States, some of those circuits are so big, but you can go into the middle of the circuit and stand there and watch all around you. It's wicked viewing. All right, it changes how you watch the entire race because you're not just then watching what you can see and sort of that little bit in front of you. You can literally turn around and be like, oh, the leader is over there and the guy I want to watch is here, and you sort of can do the whole thing. So, and that makes people want to go in person because they can see it. If they can't see it because they're only going to see 1 or 2 corners, they're going to watch it at home.
Yeah, exactly. And you go, if you're a local to that track, you're going to know, well, I'm only going to be able to watch from this one spot. So what's the point of...
And if I don't get there early and sit there all day, I don't want to be there all day, but that's the only spot to watch from. It'll be gone. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyway, all right. I've almost got to the Dave's Diatribe in that segment there because I was starting to bitch and moan, but I'm going to play the intro for the Dave's Diatribe segment, and we're going to come back with we're going to end, that's the end of the AusPro stuff, but we're going to go to our other segments here. So hold on 2 seconds, everybody. This is Dave's Diatribe. What's a diatribe? A diatribe is a forceful and bitter attack against someone or something. So keep your head down. You might be next. All right. I don't even remember if you can hear this or not, but I wonder if you heard that intro or not. But anyway, while we're sitting here while that plays, for the podcast people, they don't know anything that happened. But for the YouTube people, we're just sitting here looking like idiots. So, you know. Sorry, guys. But this Dave's Diatribe, it's going to be brought to you by Barkbuster handguards because you're going to need to deflect all this shit straight off with the handguards, right? I've come up with, and I think I've answered the question of what is the worst part about owning a motorcycle. Now, throw me a couple of your ones because I bet you're not going to come up with what I've come up with.
The worst part about owning a motorcycle, probably the minuses that happen out of my bank account. Yeah.
Yep, that's one. Yep,
that's one.
I was going to, the other ones that are top of the list, air filters, tire changes,
true, True. Or, I mean, if you're like me though, I just have a whole heap of funnel web filters stocked up in my cupboard and I don't clean them.
Funnel web, you're a man after my own heart. They are the best filter ever. And yes, they just last forever too because they double the surface area. But the point I'm getting to, the worst part about owning a motorcycle is selling a motorcycle on Marketplace.
Oh, you're pretty spot on there. Yep.
Well, you had one extra one there. What was your extra one?
I was going to say, for some weird reason, I absolutely hate tightening a chain. It is the most painful job. I don't know why. It's just, I hate it. I just hate it.
There's too much math involved in the position of that. And yeah. I'm with you. That's that's an annoying one. But yes.
Yeah.
Selling a motorcycle on Marketplace, it's got to be the worst part about owning a motorcycle is trying to get rid of the damn thing. Like, one, it's bad enough you got to try and, clean it up and list all the things that you've got on it and the hours. And then you got to go through, how to get it on there. But then you get all is it's available? When was the last top end done? Does it run? Will you swap it for a CR250 from 2004? No, I will not. Piss off.
Yeah.
And then you do things like you might go, all right, go out and let somebody see it. And then they go, the list price is X. How about I give you 500 less? No. I just, no. Like, just buy the bike for the price that it is because it's got all these bits on it and I'm, giving you a great deal anyway. Just let me move the bike on so I can go and buy the next one, please.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. No, see, I love buying things off Marketplace because I love the game of trying to haggle them or get a bargain. So the other side I love, I have completely given up on selling bikes on Marketplace because, like you said, it is a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And you get, can I swap this for a Como? Can I swap
do you want a jet ski? Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I got offered years ago for like 2 go-karts and the go-karts are worth about $1,200 each. It's a nightmare. So I've gone off of trying to sell my bikes on there. The way that I've sold my last probably 3 or 4 bikes and not even like a word of a lie is from Snapchat stories. I'm not even kidding you. It's just like, I don't know if it's just a different era or what, but all my bikes are pretty clean. Like my Cowies are always pretty spotless. Yeah. Mainly because I don't ride much. But I've put
might be part of it.
maybe part of it. But even before the Cowies, like I've put them on a Snapchat story and then I've had a friend of a friend or someone message me and like within about 40 minutes, I've sold my bike.
Jesus.
Story.
Oh,
So,
mate, I'm just going to share you a link later and you can put it on your Snapchat for me. I don't have Snapchat. I'm outside of that generation, all right?
Yeah. I'll take commission. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll sell your bike on Snapchat. I'll take commission.
The problem is I'll probably have to ship it to South Australia or something. So, yeah.
A sale is a sale.
Jesus. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I've gone away from the marketplace sale. It's an Instagram story or a Snapchat story, and then we just keep posting it until someone bites.
Yeah, look, I might have to go down that path because we're trying to get some new bikes for the kids because the kids are trying to bleed the bank account dry from dad at the moment. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're actually hooking up some new Blue Crews here shortly, some 65 and an 85 for the kids.
Oh, nice.
But I've got to move 3 bikes. And the shit show that I'm going through at the moment, me and the wife, it's not good. It's not good. So
not only are you selling bikes on marketplace, you're trying to sell 3.
Yeah. So
Fun.
Anyway, problems, first world problems, right? Like I just want some money so I can go and pay for the next lot, right? Like, please make it easy, people.
It's so funny. Like you're saying, like we were saying, the different generations, right? A couple of the kids that I coach, like funniest kids, and he's 14 and he's a marketplace guru.
Oh, right.
He sells and buys things off marketplace. He gets the biggest bargains and he's just ruthless with it. So maybe I'll get you guys.
Yeah. Give me his number. Yeah.
He's a salesman, but just different generations. Maybe, I don't know. It's a different world now.
You hear those stories too. He's probably one of them, but they're like, I started with a mouse and then I ended up with like a lump of gold, and you're like, how did you do that? Like,
flipping things.
Just swapping and flipping and back and forth, and you end up increasing. I don't know how they do that shit, but anyway, it drives me mental.
We think like having a normal 9 to 5 is stressful. Imagine trying to flip things on marketplace every day. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, they can keep people that do that as their job. They can keep that. Yeah. Jesus. All right. Enough marketplace talk. I'll be back in there after this show because I'm sure there'll be messages waiting for me to answer. Is it available? All right.
Yeah.
We're almost to the end of this one. Upcoming events that's coming up in the calendar here over the next few weeks. This weekend, the Australian Enduro Championship is kicking back into place. It's at QMP, May 16, 17. The following weekend, this event might get you going, mate. You might get back on the bike. The Hard Enduro Championship, Marumba Madness.
Oh, yeah.
You'd love that shit, right?
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, I would like to do one.
Oh, no. Hold on.
Just to do it. Yeah, just to do it. Like, I've got this grand plan. I want to do Hatter. I want to tick off Fink. And I want to do some sort of enduro cross or hard enduro. Just to try and do it all. It might not be great. It won't be pretty, but I just want to finish it.
All right, yeah, I like the commitment. I've done my Hatters and I lost my spleen at Hatter, so I'm not going back. Because of that, I'm not going to Fink. But the rest of them, I'm with you. Good to go. So Marumba Madness, May 23, 24. AusProMX is back at round 4 with Toowoomba in May 24 as well. MXGP round 8 from France is that weekend as well. So busy weekend, that one. There'll be plenty of highlights and stuff to watch on the 25th of May, that's for sure. AMA, we mentioned this earlier. Parla, round 1. Motocross kicking off May 30th. That one's going to be a banger. Deegan, Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Eli Tomac. Jeez, Jorge Prado. Bloody hell, Prado. I'm interested in Prado. I tell you what, right now, other than what we mentioned earlier about him hanging around and lingering too long, but outdoors, he could be a problem. Yeah.
Did you actually see the video of him fake swinging at Cooper Webb?
Oh, have you seen it? That is, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. If he thinks that was tough, that's a bad look.
That's not good. He was building fans back up so well. And then he's just gone and ruined it because he's done it to Cooper Webb, who everyone sort of like loves Cooper Webb, and now he's gone back to 0.
How's Cooper Webb's call? But did you see he's just a fast Vince Freeze?
Yeah.
Burn.
That's pretty good.
Oh.
He did get on the podium at the last round, so It was pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't think Cooper's going to be seeing that fast Vince Freeze outdoors this season at all. So that might come back to bite him in the arse, but we'll see.
Yep.
We shall see. All right, so that same weekend of the opener for Parla, New South Wales Motocross State Titles, round 4 is going to be in Bega. So I've got a massive drive to get to the commentary box. So that's May 30th and 31st. New South Wales Off-Road, it's a ways away is their next round. It's not until Griffith in July, 18 and 19. So fair way off for that one. Any events in your neck of the woods that we need to be aware of? I should have asked you, prompted this one, but anything you know coming up?
Yeah, we've got first round of our SA State Title Series this weekend.
Sick.
South Coast Motocross Club, so Murray Bridge.
Yep, sweet.
First round this weekend. We do it as a junior and senior on one weekend. We don't have enough numbers to split it like Vic does and some other places. So, yeah, that'll be this weekend. And then after that, not really much until the second round sometime in a month or so. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, but no, this weekend should be good. It's looking like it may be a mutter. There's a bit of rain on the forecast, so we'll see. But that's not my problem because I'm not riding, so they can enjoy that.
You can sit back and relax and watch the carnage unfold out there.
Yep, exactly.
Sweet. All right, anything else, Elijah, mate? Anything that you want to bring up before we close this one out?
I think I just want to give a huge shout out to Kawasaki for winning the last round of the AMA Supercross. Chase Sexton got the job done. So it looks like we've figured out all our issues and we're on to win the Nationals now.
Really? That's a call, mate.
No. That was honestly cool to see Chase win. I'm happy with that. Other than that, I'm also stoked for Alex Larwood to be where he is right now. Like I said, I've known him for a long time. He's got a pretty cool story. Farmer kid from up Peninsula way. So, but other than that, I've got a couple of dirty bikes in my shed because I don't have time to clean them these days because I'm coaching a lot, which is good. I'm stoked on it. But, yeah, a bit more time to ride myself would be great. Might be getting on a Supercross track in the next couple of weeks, which is exciting.
Actually, you've just reminded me. A source that I was talking to, and it might be the same source that I was trying to mention a couple of weeks ago that nobody could actually understand, but that source has told me that the Supercross calendar will be out by June. I
hope it's out pretty soon because I'm having a feeling there could be some big surprises with the calendar. So
just a couple, and they might involve a significant amount of travel.
Yes, I'm trying to save every dollar I can because I'm going to need it for the amount of travel that we may potentially be doing.
I may or may not have asked for a job so that I could get to and from these things so that I could be at all the rounds because I had a goal of being we were at 4 last year. We were at, I think it was 4 or 3 the year before. I'm like, I want to hit the whole 5 season this year, thinking that they're going to be similar sort of venues. And sounds like they're not. And I might need a budget that's like triple what I have, which currently is 0. So I don't know how you triple 0, but you can see my dilemma.
That's quite easy to triple 0, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But hence why I asked I might need a job for a certain company that runs it to try and get me there. Yeah. So, interesting things afoot.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. But I'm just excited to get on a Supercross track. So, I know I was speaking to Cody alone on the weekend. I took him riding on the Friday, and he's like, I'm getting on a Supercross track. And I was like, mate, already? Are we serious? Like, can we...
He planted a seed, but didn't he?
Yeah, I know he did. And then I started talking to the family, the Smart family that always look after me. They have a Supercross track. I started talking to them on the weekend and giving them the old, hey, so... when's that Supercross track going to be ready? And to my surprise, they were like, pretty soon. So I'm like, beauty, let's go. So I've already talked to the suspension guy. We're going to get some suspension in, and hopefully we're going to start riding one in the next few weeks. So that's exciting.
Look out.
Finally, I may get a pre-season in. Finally. We'll see. It's been many years since I've had a decent preseason. So
It's a long way to go until it starts, because I was told also that it was like what was it, October, November, so which
That's
is about
fine.
right.
Yeah.
But we've got what, 5 months?
That's fine. That's because I do this every year, and I go, I've got time. It's like a uni student, you know. I've got time to get the exam done. I've got time. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're a week out, and you're like, I actually have only done 3 days on the bike. So
Yeah.
not going to do that again.
Yeah, fair enough. No, fair call. So, look, we'll see. Oh, yeah. So there's just before we jump out, there's Matt in the chat. Apparently it's Luke Zielinski's dad. So, hi, Matt. No, I'm not coming to Toowoomba, but I should be. I just put in my application for the media for Appen, so I should be at Appen, so I'll see you there.
Nice.
But also he's mentioned, he's saying like no privateers for Oz Supercross, but it will be probably limited to some degree, but I am hearing that there might be something in the works to help something, but nothing is official yet. So we're going to have to wait until a lot of announcements come out, probably all through June, about how this is going to work. So, because it will, if there is that amount of travel, it will make this rather difficult for, guys like yourself, do this as a bit of a fun project, not necessarily a life project or a job project. And there's expenses that go along with those venues that they're talking about. And I know I'm being cryptic on those venues, but they are far away. It's going to change how this needs to be done. So they're going to have to be somewhat supportive if they want people to turn up and enter. So.
Well, yeah, I think there is no question about it. There definitely has to be some sort of support to be able to do what is the rumours that I've heard. So it's going to be tough if there's not. So I'm sure they've got a plan. I'm sure they're working on it, and I'm sure we'll figure out what's going on soon.
Yeah, hopefully June. Hopefully it's actually worth something to you guys, and not just a tiny little band-aid to hold the ship together. You know. So we'll see. But anyway. All right, let's wrap this up. Appreciate you getting on here, man. Saving my bacon with the contractor down. So thank you for that.
No worries.
I thought it was a good show. Maybe nobody else does. I don't really care. Thanks to everybody for watching and or listening. If you're not watching, you should be on our YouTube. If you're not listening, you can re-listen to it when you're driving to work during the week on your favorite podcast player. Get those t-shirt orders in to info@alwaysmoto.com. Follow our social pages. Leave a rating on the podcast app, because that's always helpful. Hit the thumbs up on the YouTube. Don't forget to check out our written articles over on fullnoise.com.au. We've got plenty of WR250F content coming out very soon. I was filming a bunch of stuff on Sunday after the racing, so check that out in the next sort of 2 weeks. It'll be all up there. But that's it for another show. Thanks to Technic Motorsport, Duramoose, Yamaha Motor Australia, Pivot Pegs, Tech 167 3D Printing for the show support. Thanks to the wife and kids for letting me getting this done. Thanks to Elijah. Thanks to Benny in the chat for being off sick. We'll see you at the track.